What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about a pretty popular parody film in the 80s. It's Spaceballs. This, of course, makes fun of science fiction films, primarily Star Wars, but Star Trek and Alien are certainly in there as well. I can't say that I loved this or grew up with it, but something about it obviously had to be iconic for a lot of people who still reference it to this day. But parodies and spoofs, they're touch and go for me. Sometimes I think, despite their dumb nature, are subtly smart, and at other times I feel like my brain is atrophying while watching. Let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, atrophy. Waste away due to degradation of cells as in muscle tissue. Spaceballs takes place in a galaxy far away where Lord Helmet is on a mission to steal an entire planet's air supply, and his plan is simple: kidnap the princess of that planet and get her father to grant them access codes to get into the planet to steal the air.
Everybody got that?
There's only one problem with that, and that's Lone Star, a space cowboy, and his loyal Mog, Barf, who vow to help her and get reward money in the process. Clearly, the plot and the characters are derived from Star Wars, but it's hard to consider that a fact when there's no character based off of Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan, as both of those characters are kind of combined in Lone Star's character, who is obviously based off of Han Solo. How you combine three different characters into the same guy, I don't know. I may never know. But I'm not going to question it too much. If they had more characters, the film may have felt more convoluted than it already was, which was already quite a bit. Now, there are both things I enjoyed going into this film as well as didn't. Being a spoof film, it already had to prove itself, and they did okay. I did laugh here and there, like with yogurt instead of Yoda and the Schwartz instead of the Force, and I especially enjoyed the tongue-in-cheek, self-aware, breaking the fourth wall stuff, like when they kept referencing their own movie, Spaceballs the movie. That was fun, but this is also a highly flawed flick. I don't know if they meant the production budget to look like garbage, but it does, and I don't know if they directed the actors to actually do a bad job, but these people can't act. And I liked a good majority of the actors in this film. Maybe if Leslie Nielsen was a part of the film, I would have been more on keen with the cast, but as it was, I wasn't digging the people aspect. So these were the types of things that acted as barriers for me, and I had a hard time connecting with the jokes. As I said, though, some jokes did work for me, and did have me chuckling from time to time. I even thought some of the jokes that didn't click with me this time may actually work on repeat viewings, because it really does have that cult classic feel to it. But it is also a product of its time, something that I've said a lot about the movies that came out in the 80s, but it is especially true for comedies because they make pop culture references that you may not catch. And while I'm a big sci-fi nerd and could connect with a lot of the references, I couldn't connect to everything. Let's take a look at the final score for a second. As this is a comedy and parody at that, the bias is going to be the most affected. They're not very held back by expectations people have with technical things like visuals or sounds or anything like that. Everything in that department was just fine. Nothing crazy. My unbiased score fails at 48% because it had missteps in acting and story development, and the only good thing that stood out was focus on dialogue, which obviously was going to be there because of the comedy. My bias is at 56%, which means it doesn't fail, but it's not great. Some jokes worked for me while most didn't. Averaging these two scores together comes down to a final score of 52%, 52 out of 100 possible stars, which means at the end of the day, it gets an F. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this classic parody in the comments down below. What do you remember best about it? Let me know. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review, because there's more like it coming out. Hit the thumbs up button, because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon, because that'll help notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.